Vice President Kamala Harris visited Nashville and spoke in favor of gun control. She met with Tennessee State Representatives Justin Jones, Justin Pearson, and Gloria Johnson, the three lawmakers who were involved in the protests on the State House floor. Harris praised their courage and emphasized the importance of democracy. President Joe Biden also spoke with lawmakers and invited them to the White House. Biden criticized Republicans for punishing elected representatives instead of taking action on gun safety reforms.
Of course, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Joining us now to discuss the Tennessee Three is former Tennessee State Senator Katrina Robinson. Thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome back to Fox Soul's Black Report.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
So tell us, you were watching the expulsion in real time. What was your initial feeling as you watched all of this unfold?
It was a feeling of disgust, a feeling of it was altogether just wrong. I mean, I had to go through this same process a little bit over a year ago. And it was pretty much the same thing. No due process was given. I had not violated any Senate laws at that point or any Senate rules at that point. And I think it got kind of swept under the rug because of the situation that I was in. However, the process was still the same and it still went the same way. With these lawmakers, they are fairly new lawmakers. I believe Justin Jones has been there since the beginning of this session. And then Justin Pearson just got there maybe 2 weeks ago. And so they have not been formally trained. I know for a fact that they don't train them as to what the floor decorum should actually be. However, this was not an expulsory offense to me.
Mm-hmm. So, we know that this was absolutely unprecedented, and we know it's about gun control. But how much of a role do you think racism has played in the expulsion? It's pretty clear as to how that seems to be of such.
Right. I mean, and to be honest, it's not unprecedented. Again, it happened last year. People are totally missing their point. It happened last year in the Senate. This is the first time it has happened in the House along party lines. Prior to this, it happened with a representative who was expelled for numerous sexual harassment complaints. But this is something totally different. These lawmakers haven't aggressed so much where they should be expelled. It sets a terrible precedent because it is along racial lines. If you look at the three lawmakers who were up, you had Gloria Johnson, who was from Knoxville. She's a Democrat, and though they have given her hell since she's been there, she has stayed. And then you have the two black lawmakers from the blackest and bluest counties in the state, Davidson County and Shelby County, who were expelled. No action was different on the part of either of those lawmakers. All three of them were in the well at the time they were to be said to be offending. And nothing was different between the three of them but their race and their sex. So you can pretty much draw the picture from there. And even Representative Johnson did acknowledge on national TV that she understands that this was a racial thing.
Mm-hmm. This weekend we saw the lawmakers, the Tennessee Three, really making their rounds on a number of different programs. And one of the things that struck me is they talked about how they felt like there was a target on their back from the very beginning. How were you treated while a senator in the Tennessee State Legislature, and did you ever feel like you had a target on your back starting on day one?
Oh, not starting on day one, but I did feel like I had a target on my back. So I will say that the institution that we were a part of has been white, has been male, of course. So as one of three black women who served in the Senate, of course, there were feelings of not being welcomed. And especially these young men, which I want to bring to light. Justin Jones is actually an activist who had a very, very extensive reputation at the House and in the Senate, because Justin was very, very vocal with different groups in the community about wrongdoings. Even one time he was in committee with me in Judiciary, and we were advocating for citizen law enforcement review boards and people not running over protesters. He's been arrested multiple times at the hands of House leaders. And so I feel like when he got there, they pretty much did have a target on his back, because to them it was a slap in the face that he is now an elected representative and their peer. There's a point to prove there.
Yeah, and we know lawmakers are going to be busy today. Do you think that the two black lawmakers will be reinstated? I know there's some votes up.
So that's the tricky part. So the Memphis City Council, the Shelby County Commission is going to be voting on a reappointment for Justin Pearson's position, which is District 86 in the House. And then the Metro City Council from Nashville will have to vote on a reappointment for his position as well. When there is a seat that is vacated with greater than 12 months left until an election, the local legislative body does have the duty to put on a special election, and until they do that, they do an interim appointment. What I've heard is that the House leaders have made numerous threats saying that they were going to withhold funding and support for Shelby County if they send Justin Pearson back, and I'm sure it's the same way with the Metro Council. However, I am looking forward to these bodies ignoring those threats and sending these people back to the positions that the people appointed them to. Mm-hmm. They were elected to those positions, and they deserve to serve because they've shown themselves those of passion to serve. And I believe that our county commissioners and Metro City Council have the guts to do that. I hope they do. Mm-hmm. And until the special election happens again, I know Justin Pearson and both Justin Jones have said they will run again, and I hope they do, and that people get another chance to send them back to their seats.
Have Republicans in the Tennessee State Legislature, have they ever made good on any of these threats? I mean, it's been reported that $350 million project in Shelby County that they've been sort of holding over those commissioners' heads, if they were to seat the representatives, should they be reelected again. Have Republicans ever made good on these threats, or is it just a whole lot of tough talk?
It's not a whole lot of tough talk. They have made good on threats in the past. As recently as I believe 2016 was before I was serving, actually. And that's the scary part, because they have such a supermajority in this state. They can pretty much wield their power in any way that they want to. We already have challenges with Davidson County and Shelby County being the most neglected counties in the state, but also having the highest Black populations in the state as well. And the body knows that, and they know that we are at their mercy when it comes to funding. However, I don't think it's much to lose, if you ask me.
Yeah, Katrina Robinson, former Tennessee State Senator, thank you so much for your time today, for the insight, and for the good trouble that we know you continue to get in. And we might even have you back to discuss a little bit more about this situation as it plays out. Thank you so much again. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you all, and thank you all for covering this.
Absolutely.